live.
Let me bring my thing up. I'm glad I didn't.
That's what
I was going to do that.
said.
Oh, there we go. Weird. I was just having a moment where it just wasn't refreshing my page.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
Let me make sure
Looks like I linked my Amazon Prime account, by the way.
Oh, right. I need to do that. It's purely just my brain cutting out and forgetting.
Yeah, I'm not going to include it. I'm not going to include it anyway, because I could share that. Nah, won't do that. It looks weird.
What?
Yeah. Well, the fact that I subbed again.
Oh, yeah.
They're whilst offline.
Yeah.
They didn't want anything, like... Didn't want a big deal made about it.
Uh-huh. It just feels weird when you sub to your own stuff.
It does.
It
It really does. That's why I don't even subscribe to rapid reviews on YouTube.
I know. See, I don't either. Oh, wait. No, I did. But it felt weird. I think I was just trying to bump up the subscriber numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, I just worry that whether or not freaking Twitch is just going to come back at us and just be like, why are you taking money off yourself? Like, that's against community guideline rules, banned.
I do wonder what the rules are about that. I bet there are rules.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a Twitter thing while we talk about?
My God, yeah. I actually have to do some work,
For those
more work.
Yeah, more work. Pete's the workhorse. For those just joining us, I'm gonna.
That's why my back hurts today. I'm always carrying the load of the weight of this show on my shoulders.
Okay, let's see what happened. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave it. Anyway, so for those just joining us, we were discussing how basically both Pete and I are tired of sympathetic villains. Because last thing we said before we went live, evil exists in the world, and because sometimes evil is just evil because it can be evil. And it doesn't need a tragic backstory to prop it up.
Great. I think it's ridiculous now, like, actually, that, you don't get anyone that's in media these days that's not a true out-and-out villain. Like, they are the sympathetic, like, malevolent kind. It's just weird, Like you said, evil exists in the world, and there are just sick, disgusting, horrible people out there that just do things for no rhyme nor reason.
Yep.
But yet Hollywood has seemed to have forgotten that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that probably 80% of the people in Hollywood are probably all villains themselves.
This is probably true.
Probably why they don't want to bring it up constantly, because we might relate it to real life,
But I mean, it's like when I first noticed it. Not to say that it was first done, but I first noticed it, of course, in Game of Thrones, where your allegiance keeps switching as you get to know all these characters. And then I was really into this TV show for a while called Once Upon a Time, and which was like fairy tale characters in the modern world, and the evil queen from Snow White was the like main villain, but then they started making her sympathetic, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
That was the worst. Honestly, that was what annoyed me the most.
Well, those were the first times I really noticed it, and I was kind of like intrigued and kind of into it. And then suddenly everything that started to come out, or that I noticed, was sympathetic villain. And your sympathies kind of wear thin after a while. You're like, look, evil exists. It just is. And that's it, full stop. It just is,
100%.
And
so, yeah, I had a couple of examples of this, of how it really quite annoys me. And one of them I won't go into too much detail because you'll hear my full thoughts on... I never watch it. Excuse me. But one of them was... God, why am I... Oh, Cruella. So the Disney Plus retelling, essentially, of the story of Cruella de Vil.
I've never watched it because I don't think I can justify someone who kills puppies.
No, that's my point.
Yeah. Have you ever
horrible,
seen it?
I've not watched
I
Cruella,
can't.
but obviously I've watched the classic 101
Yeah.
Dalmatians and the remake with Glenn Close
Yeah. Who was a great
and
villain.
102 Dalmatians, which shouldn't be spoken
Gosh.
about.
Oh dear.
Um,
Oh dear. Oh gosh.
but yeah, I've watched all of those, but because of that reason, I couldn't watch Cruella.
No, I cannot bring myself to watch it. If you're out there and you've watched it, join in the conversation. But
Yeah, all power to you, if you've watched it, because that looked like an exercise in torture to me.
yeah, just like, I have a reputation for being a villain in real life.
I wouldn't say. I would
do.
say deflammatory anti-hero.
Okay, but I had to draw the line at killing puppies or watching a movie without killing. Oh, I just couldn't do it. Are you crazy? Bueno's here, Bueno.
Bueno. Oh, it might help if I actually pop my chat out.
That's what she said. And
That doesn't even make sense.
I know, but you know what? That made me think. Even though I still haven't seen it either, but that's Maleficent. Which
Yeah, another one that I would not watch.
I will admit, when I was little itty bitty, and I first saw the cartoon Sleeping Beauty, but then I also read the original fairy tale because I had like a book of fairy tales or whatever. I guess every kid has that. I did always feel sorry for Maleficent. Like that concept was always there, but it came out at a time where just all the villains are sympathetic, and I don't want to be.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
I want to root for the good guy, which apparently, now I haven't seen it because I have no interest in it, but apparently, the Tom Cruise, what is it, Maverick, whatever?
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, that thing supposedly goes back to classic movie storytelling, and that's cool, if so. I mean, I have zero interest in it, but...
Well, bearing in mind, I haven't seen it yet. And I've never watched Top Gun.
Oh, I have, because I had to. As a kid.
So, whilst I haven't watched Top Gun, I have watched Hot Shots.
Yeah! Yes!
So there you go. That's about as much Top Gun as I can handle.
So Brent has seen the live-action Cruella. It's a prequel. She isn't evil yet in the movie. See, but I don't want to sympathize with her.
Yeah, but you know the path she's going to go down.
She's going to kill puppies, Brent.
Yeah, and they made it out like this is my problem in terms of writing itself, is the fact that you know full well that this is a prequel story. You know the path that she's going to go down, but let's make her sympathetic in that time. No.
I guess though they did that
Let's not do that.
I guess they did that with Anakin. Frick, that is the original.
There you go.
That's the original sympathetic villain.
I wouldn't say it's the original. Definitely
when I watched Return of the Jedi, when I was like 6 years old, and he's laying there, and he asked Luke to take off his helmet.
Oh, what a moment!
At the end of the movie.
Return of the Jedi, yeah. That's what I said. What a moment!
Oh, I thought you said in what moment? Like question mark.
No.
I
what
cried my little
moment.
6-year-old eyes out, and
yeah, that was right.
Yeah, so that was probably the original sympathetic villain for me. And I love that. I don't want that.
Yeah,
to
but
go away.
that's the thing though. They spend 2.5 like. That's what I mean. They spent like multiple movies at that point, like a couple of movies and a few, probably they hadn't done the extended universe at that point, I guess. So, but yeah, they'd done New Hope, they'd done Empire, and for the vast majority of Return, he's still a villain.
Yeah, he is.
It's only when he actually sees Luke getting destroyed by Palpatine
I love that
he has the turn. Like, there is such a thing known as a redemptive arc.
Yes, that's
but people
Jamie
seem
Lannister.
to have forgotten. But that's what I mean. But people seem to have forgotten about redemptive arcs. They let's just make all the villains sympathetic, so they don't go on a redemptive arc.
Maybe that's it, Pete. I think you might have hit the whole nail head thing. I love redemption stories. I love redemption stories. But I'm tired of sympathetic villains. So I think you're right.
That's what I mean. I want my villain to be a villain until the point when they realise that villainry is not getting them anywhere.
Or they can stay the villain and their henchmen...
Or they can stay the villain forever, yeah.
Yeah, and the henchmen can be like, oh my gosh, I have a redemption story now, you know?
Yeah, fine. I'll give you a stupid example, but it's still a good example. Dr. Evil.
Right, okay.
So I've been watching Austin Powers again, like over the course of the last few weeks, because it's been on TV.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, I've not watched them in years, but I did watch them to all hell, like back in the day. You know, he is evil.
He is.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way through until he finds out that he's the brother of Austin Powers in the third movie.
Yeah, I hate the third movie.
It was stupid.
I hate the third.
But it's a spoof, and it's supposed to be that way. But he still has a redemptive arc.
He does have a redemptive arc. It's true. And then Scotty.
And then what? Yeah, and then what happens? Yeah, you just said it. Scotty becomes the villain.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have He doesn't have a redemptive arc all the way through. He actually has a slip into madness all the way through the films.
That's very true. That's it. Also, Brent says, by the way, I'm back on Warframe Sunday morning again. Yay! Woo! That's very cool. But yeah, I think, Pete, it's redemptive arcs. That's what I love.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed it.
That's why I'm crazy. Now, see, here's the thing. Game of Thrones. I know you haven't seen it, and this is no spoilers if you are tuning in.
Can I just tell you now? I know this is probably more for the viewers or the listeners and all that elsewhere. I have literally no interest in ever watching Game of Thrones ever. So carry on.
Okay, so when you're introduced to like Jon Snow, he's immediately the character you kind of glom onto. He's the character that you feel most connected with. Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the underdog. He's the bastard. That kind of thing. And Jaime Lannister is just evil. He's just evil, and you hate him. Like, viscerally, I hate this guy. And then, as the seasons go, where they were still well written up until season 6, your loyalties kind of shift with Jaime Lannister because he starts this redemptive arc. Whereas Jon Snow doesn't ever really grow. He just stays like this. And so you kind of go, he's not really cool enough to be king. He's... Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing. So I think what my point is that give me a redemption story.
Fair enough. And isn't in the complete opposite side of the things where Daenerys is? She starts out quite sympathetic and then sort of goes downwards into villainry.
Yeah, she would be. Yeah, because see, a lot of people want to say that Jon Snow and Daenerys are fire and ice, and they're the opposites, and they take opposite paths. But that's not true. It's Daenerys and Jaime. They do exact opposites of each other. And
do you think that was done on purpose then as a bait and switch by the screenwriters, or do you think that was always established by George R.R. Martin within the novels?
There's always been a discussion of who is fire and who is ice, because the obvious thing was, well, obviously Jon Snow being ice and then Daenerys breathing fire.
Fire, yeah.
But it's never been actually established. So some people were like, Daenerys is ice because she has ice in her cold heart.
Yeah.
Jaime's fire.
I mean, that kind of makes
warm heart. Yeah,
that kind of makes sense, despite the fact that she's the Queen of Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it becomes more. Is it not so much a physical attribute as it is, an emotional? And George R.R. Martin does write on sub level, which I love.
Yeah, subtext. Which is what we've discussed pre-show. Yeah. And, no interest in actual story, but actually in terms of character development, he does very well.
He does very well. So all this to say, oh my gosh, give me a redemption story or a growth arc. Because I could take, like, if Jon Snow in the show, now in the novels he has a growth arc, but in the show, if they had just given him some, like, proper growth as he started out, oh my gosh. So yes, those early seasons, his growth is, like, awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just, it just peters out.
Yep.
I'll take, give me growth and
so I mean, the example I wanted to give mainly about bad writing of villains at the moment was, and I'm not going into too much detail, and this is definitely Wanda from frickin' Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
So boring, so dull, and half the reason why I hated WandaVision is she is very clearly the villain all the way through.
But see, that is, again, now for those who don't know, Pete and I have exact opposite stance on WandaVision and Loki, which is good because I like.
Let me just say that after the discussion I had with Kurt about episodes 3 and 4 of Loki, I haven't changed my mind, but I have seen a different in
Oh,
a
that's
different light.
cool. Yeah. Well, that's
Kind
good
of.
to hear.
When
Yeah,
I
I
actually was
know.
like saying it out loud when we
Yeah.
were recording, it sort of was like, actually, I think I might have enjoyed this a bit more than I thought I did.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Might. I say
Yes,
might.
might. Um, but I will grant you that now the reason I like WandaVision is because I know the whole time she's the villain.
Mm-mm.
And I like that. But again, we discussed this weeks ago that WandaVision is completely a subtext written show. And if you
Yeah.
don't get the subtext, it's not enjoyable. Because they should have, as I said back then, they should have crafted a story that was good on top of the subtext, and they didn't, because what they did was just write subtext, which is enjoyable for me, but it's not enjoyable for people who don't like, you know, symbolism and underlying meanings and all that kind of stuff, which I would
Yeah.
say is most people. It's just
Yeah,
weirdos
for
like
sure.
me. But also I also have the comics, background. So I knew she was a villain the whole time, and I liked that. I like that kind of whatever. But Method of Madness Multiverse. I can't ever remember the name of that. The thing with that, they should have gave it to Sam Raimi from day one. I think
Yeah,
you can tell it's very disjointed. Choppy.
Yeah, can I let me just add a little sub point here, because obviously Scott Derrickson was originally supposed to be doing it, who did the first movie, and I'm
Right.
actually starting to wonder whether or not, like, he removed himself from this project because he didn't like the direction it was going.
It's possible, because it is not anywhere in the same direction that the original was.
No, not at
Doctor
all.
Strange. It's very different. So you could be right there. But it's absurd enough that Sam Raimi should have had the reins from the get-go.
Should have done, because the few scenes that actually has his influence on it are actually some of the best within the actual whole entire movie.
Now, that's how I feel as well. But it's... They really... I say this a lot, especially with Marvel. I say this a lot with the whole MCU. They had an identity crisis, which is also a comic book crossover in the Marvel universe. But all puns aside, they do seem to... Phase 4 had an identity crisis.
Yeah, and they still have. They're only just fixing that identity crisis after what
think
happened at
so.
San Diego Comic-Con yesterday.
Yeah, which we'll very briefly touch on before we start the show. Unless you want to touch
yes.
on it in the show, even though it's not really game
well,
related. But
Not really. Let's touch upon it now. I don't care.
wait, what's the I don't care for? Like, I don't care. If we
All of
touch
it.
on-
Don't care. Don't care for any of it now.
Um,
I'm now at the point of.
oversaturated.
I'm now at the point. Oversaturated and losing interest very quickly, because the last few properties that I've watched of the MCU, especially in Phase 4, have been so poor
They are bad.
for me.
They are bad, and I hate saying that because I'm an absurdist. I love absurdism in entertainment and in philosophy. So absurdism is my thing. And so there was a lot of potential there for Phase 4, which is all absurdist. But they didn't do it well.
No.
It wasn't executed well.
No, there's a huge problem with the whole thing, like in a massive way.
It's like they're trying to make money, but that's all they're doing is trying to make money. And the thing is, you can do like a fabricated or whatever what was the Spice Girls? They were like an engineered, group, and they were very successful. You can do that. I don't think you can do that over and over and over again, because if you remember during even that time period, there was like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all these like all these groups, girl and boy groups, and they were just carbon copies of each other.
Yep.
And after a while,
7, Spice.
Yeah,
It's all of that lot. You started getting like Hearsay and
All Saints and just everything.
Girls Aloud.
Girls Aloud, yes. And the other one I can't remember, but the point being, they just duplicated. Some of them had the same producers even, and they
Yeah, because it's
lost.
essentially like only three producers
Hmm.
basically from the from the 80s, which
Yep.
was Waterman and a few I can't remember the
Larry
names of them.
something. I can't remember his name, but Larry whatever, and then the
Yeah,
dude
and
from America or Britain's Got Talent, that guy.
well, it was originally like Waterman and all that lot during the 80s, and then around the early 2000s is when Simon Cowell sort of took over with
Simon Cowell,
Psycho
that's it.
Records.
Um, and so we've seen that in action with music entertainment. Well, it's almost like Marvel's trying to do that, but once you duplicate things,
Yeah,
they lose their intrinsic value
yeah.
because it's all samey, you know.
Okay. So we've
But
got a couple of comments here.
mhm.
So Brent has put, I really like Taika Waititi's new Thor movie. I'm not talking about the new Thor movie because I thought it was absolute piece of crap.
It had. I always say this because I'm very charitable about creative endeavors. It had its moments, but I was very disappointed.
It was so boring.
It was so disappointing. It was
Like,
like,
another one. Go, carry on.
well, it's. I actually posted this on Twitter, and I do still stand by it. Anything that Taika, whatever his name is,
Taika.
TW.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, it seems like I should like it.
Yep.
And I try. Like the whole pirate thing he just did. I'm supposed to like that. It has all of the elements I'm supposed to like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. JoJo's Rabbit or whatever it's called.
Yep.
I did not want to like that. I'm gonna be honest.
I
Because I'm
really
very
liked the film,
uncomfortable.
to be fair.
I'm uncomfortable. I know it was supposed to make you uncomfortable.
Yep.
So I did try to go in with that mindset. I didn't
Mhm.
like it. It's just not for me.
Okay,
But
can I
it's
tell you
weird
something
to
interesting
me.
about that film, though?
Mhm.
So I've only heard this in the last couple of days, actually. First of all, I didn't know it was based on a novel.
Yeah.
And secondly, apparently there is no comedy within that novel. All of that was self-inserted by Taika Waititi.
You know what? I'm going to say, on one hand, maybe that's good because I just. Well, is it though? I may need to read the novel now.
I think in this, I think in this occasion it
assumed
works
that
well.
I assumed that the novel had comedy in it, and the comedy is what. But again, I know it's supposed to. It's supposed to be jarring. It's supposed to
Yeah,
throw
but
you
this
off.
is but this is the difference
Just,
behind it,
it's
right?
just not.
The big difference is that the big difference between Jojo Rabbit and For Love and Thunder
Uh
is
huh.
that Jojo Rabbit has scenes of real impact and power,
Yeah.
and they're allowed to breathe
Yeah.
without cutting a quip,
Which
you
is
know,
right.
which is
That's
the sign of good storytelling is
yeah.
that you have a powerful moment strung by high emotion that is allowed to just breathe and have its moment. In For Love and
I'll agree
Thunder,
with you.
you
Yeah.
have these moments of levity and ideas of really deep storytelling,
It's just
you know,
like
especially with Gore,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That was wasted.
Gore's got a great backstory that is
Mhm.
basically played for a joke throughout the entire movie, and that's not fair.
It's
Like that is something that should have been allowed to breathe completely.
I'm actually
Whereas,
gonna agree
but
with you.
then, but then, no, it has to be quip, quip, quip,
Yeah.
quip, 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 emotional moment, quip. You know, that is, it's the Marvel playbook now, and it's becoming very stale, very dull, and the fact that the few interviews that have come out about the film, from the cast members such as Chris Hemsworth,
Mhm.
who has turned around and says Taika is like a 7-year-old child.
Yeah.
Now, I believe this film was written by a 7-year-old child.
Yeah. There's
Like,
some things that he
it's so
said.
all over the place.
It is
You know,
like
the fact that he's turned around and went, I don't care about your lore, I'll shatter your lore in 5 seconds. Shut up. No, these are established characters for longer than you've been alive. Don't you dare even try.
I like shaking up the system,
Yeah.
but he's not doing it. Okay, this is what I think. I think he's not doing it for other people's entertainment value. He's doing it because he can, and he's doing
Because
it,
he's a narcissist.
and he's doing it to put his own stamp on it. And I don't.
But that's my...
I don't like
And this
that.
is...
I don't
This
like
is
that.
where we come full circle to the discussion that started before, obviously, we went live, and the fact that I feel like the writers nowadays are terrible because all they're doing is self-inserting themselves and their own politics into movies.
Yeah, they used to call it navel gazing. I don't know if that's still what it's called
It
in
probably
writing.
is it probably is still the same to some degree.
And my instructors and professors were very much like, you can be introspective. It's good to be introspective because it like gives you kind of like
Mm,
sympathy with the reader, sympathy, empathy, but
mm.
no navel gazing.
Yeah,
And that's what
but
all that
that's what they're
stuff was
doing.
like.
The other thing about the Marvel stuff that's really gotten me worried is a lot of stuff that's come out over the last couple of weeks, especially when it comes to the visual effects department, being
Oh
given
yeah,
next to no time and no budget. And
yeah,
also that actually this has come from both Marvel and DC, not in an official capacity, that people working within those two studios are being told that the priority is the streaming service. They don't care about like spending big budget
yeah.
on big movies anymore. They're all it is about content, and that's it. And that's what's got me worried about Phase 5, Phase 6.
Well,
So
what I'll say.
the only thing that was announced yesterday at San Diego Comic Con from five and six, Phase 5 and 6, is Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
it, because I
That's what I'm
really
looking forward
liked Daredevil
to.
as a series. But that
And
doesn't mean I'm not worried about it. Of course I'm worried about it.
right. Um,
So, yeah.
I'm just hoping because it's got like the original,
Yeah, it's
people.
got Charlie Cox back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Let me just check this test recording quickly.
Okay,
I've had
and
that running in the background, so.
well, that's good. I'm messing around with my lights because they're making me look
Okay.
really old. But I
Don't
will
worry, it
say
looks
this.
like I've got a black eye here.
Well, maybe you should try a little concealer, a little.
I don't know why it looks like I've got black eye.
I don't know why I'm looking haggard,
Hang on.
because I'm actually feeling quite good and refreshed.
There we
But I will tell you what I actually enjoyed seeing or looking forward to, which surprised me. Well, there was two things that surprised me. I actually do want to see, or I'm intrigued enough to see Wakanda, part two.
You mean Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
That one. I'm never.
Did they have a
gonna-
trailer for it, by the
They
way?
did, and it looked amazing.
Okay, because I haven't seen it yet, and I've been a bit worried that that film is even coming out this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Well, from what I could see, now again, it's all marketing. It could be, like terrible or whatever.
Yeah.
But it looked cool. And I'll tell you the other thing that Pete, you're going to hate this. You're going to hate this with a passion. But I'm willing to give the first episode a try now. Because they improved it. She-Hulk. They improved the CGI. Oh dear. But they've improved the CGI.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. I've got no issue with them making
not
improvements
perfect.
post, which is great.
Yeah.
But the series is so close to coming out. I'm not sure how
Oh,
much they can.
you know
improve
what
it.
you're gonna hate about it though, Pete? You're gonna hate this. But it is from the comics. She breaks the fourth wall.
Look, I have no problem with full breaking. Look, Austin Powers does it all the freaking time, and it's funny in that movie. When it's done well, it's done really well.
Well,
It's just couple that alongside with the annoying pain in the ass characters known as Deadpool
oh my
is
love,
where I don't like it.
my love, my one true
However,
love.
She-Hulk does it quite well.
I hope she does. She actually in the comics was breaking fourth wall before Deadpool because she
Yes.
was done
Yeah, I
as a parody.
I know,
there
and
who
that's
don't
what I
know.
really like about it, because I
Yeah.
have gone back and read some of the She-Hulk Attorney at Law
Oh, they're so good.
comics, and they're great.
Yeah,
They are great. But they have completely missed a trick by not doing something. And if I'm putting my speculation hat on here for a moment,
right.
because they've just announced obviously Daredevil Born Again. We already knew that Daredevil was coming.
Oh yeah.
Like, he was featured within No Way Home. and
Right.
it's still the best cameo within that
Yeah,
entire movie.
that was really good.
I have some more issues with Spider-Man upon a second watch, by the way. I'm
Oh,
gonna talk
goodness.
about that another time.
Yes. Because we will have to start the show soon.
I know that would be a hint for come back and watch Never Watchers.
Anyway. Two Never Watcher drops. Anyway.
Yes, but
plugs.
So obviously Daredevil's been announced. We knew it was coming, and we knew there was going to be something about it. It's a bit of a long wait for it, which okay, fair enough. I get it.
Right.
Obviously, you have to develop the series.
Right.
But on the numerous occasions that those two characters have met, why the hell haven't you got Daredevil? Or just having Matt Murdock in there.
He is
in any way, shape, or form.
He is in there, Pete.
Is that what they showed in the new trailer then? Without even looking at the trailer, I already knew it was coming.
See? Pete wasn't lying. He has been reading. I'll give him that.
I haven't seen any reactions.
Yeah.
I've seen nothing.
Really? Okay, yeah, definitely.
No, I've seen nothing.
That's crazy, but yeah, give the new trailer a watch. See how you feel about it now, because that original trailer, that original teaser,
was crap.
Oh, it was terrible. I do hate. How do I say this? There's some comments being made because of her build and size, and Snoosu is bandied about quite a bit. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I would like them to focus on the content of her character first, and then her appearance. But, you know, at least the Glamazons are taking over for a bit.
Why does this world even exist anymore?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I've had enough of this planet.
Well,
I must go now. My home planet needs me.
Yes, my people need me. Do you read the last two comments from Brent, and then we'll get the show started?
Yes, we shall. So Brent has put, I'm excited to see Tatiana Maslany again as She-Hulk. First time since Orphan Black.
I haven't seen Orphan Black. I have heard so many good things about it.
I can't say I have.
I have not watched it.
Also, Daredevil's rights just left Netflix. That's not true because Daredevil's been on Disney Plus for about 6 months.
Yeah, but did the actual
maybe not 6 months. Yeah, the rights to make a new series?
Yeah.
Well, surely, I don't know, but considering that Matt Murdock appeared within Spider-Man No Way Home, which was in 2021, shows that they've probably had the rights a lot longer than you think they have.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
So I think that as soon as they had that settled in terms of that story arc, because we have to remember that it's not solely Marvel, it was Sony as well.
Right.
So Sony would have had to have cut a deal with Netflix at the same time. So I don't think Netflix have anything to do with that series anymore whatsoever, which is why when you actually watch it on Disney Plus, there is no mention of Netflix in any way. It's all ABC Studios.
Oh, right. Oh, God, I forgot they own ABC. Duh. Okay. Are you ready to start this?
I was going to say, once you stop gnawing on that. Yeah, you sounded weird when you said that.
Sorry, I was putting on lipstick.
I know.
Okay. What time is it? Okay.
It's nearly 1:45, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. We can start on 1:45.
Yeah. And it's going to be a quick one for you guys out there because
a lot of news.
Pete is sore and I have to go.
That could sound a lot worse.
Yeah, it could, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got stories, but we'll cover some of these in a little bit less detail. I just wanted to bring them up because, yeah, funny stuff.
I can't get my lights right.
Look, I can't get natural light right in my room.
I have
Like I
no
said,
natural light. I'm in a basement.
black eye.
Yes.
Still
Doesn't
looks
really.
like
It doesn't.
I've been in a fight. It looks like I've
looks.
been in a fight.
It looks like you have allergies,
Either that or I just haven't slept.
or you just ran into a door.
Wouldn't surprise me considering I was just bashing my head on my wardrobe.
Don't do that.
Well, when you started talking about that, what it was that you said, I started bashing my head on the wardrobe, which is what I wasn't just bashing it on the edge of my chat window.
Right. See, I thought you were. I have object permanence problems. Once you leave the chat window, you don't exist.
So my hand no longer.
Oh no,
exists.
Pete doesn't have a hand. Oh, it's back. Your magic.
Okay, right, we're good.
Okay. Okay, we ready to
so
start?
I'm going to start the
this?
recording. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Recording has started, so let's start the show in 3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 130. That's 130. I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
Congratulations, people know how to count.
And
hello.
That threw me off.
Yeah, because you said episode 130.
130. I was gonna say. Well, see, I was gonna say 130 because that's how I always do it. Kind of like 11 on Stranger Things. Maybe it's an autistic thing. And then I was like, no, Kiley, you have to say 130. It's a number. And then I was like, 130. 130.
and for all those normal English speakers, that would be 130, not 130.
Oh, yeah.
Because that sounds like you're telling the time.
I didn't even think of that. You're correct. But we have a very quickie, shorty show for you today. But
She said.
It's jam-packed full of all the newsy goodness you can usey.
Oh, that's why you ended up calling it that.
I just dropped my iPad again for the millionth time.
Congratulations.
Yay. But like I do every week, in rain or shine, and also I think it's overcast.
Blistering heat.
It's overcast but warm, which really sucks. And I'm in a basement, in an undisclosed location.
In the upside down.
In the upside down, that's for dang sure. But having said all of that, I like to start the show, for our new listeners who don't know, I like to start the show with a little banter and chat, just like the How to Run a Podcast books tell you to. So
Even though most people out there are telling you to cut that.
I know.
Nobody wants to listen to banter.
I know, and
Shut up.
then you poll the audience, and they're like, "No, we love the banter. Leave the banter in." It's like, yeah, see. Mm-hmm.
Look, believe you me, if there was no banter on podcast I listened to, then I wouldn't be listening to it.
I only like it if it's like strict news, like the murder ones and stuff like that.
No, I love a bit of banter because the last podcast on the left does a lot of banter when it comes to like dealing with stories like that.
Right. I guess
it's great.
It's a good chaser, like unicorn chaser.
It is, yeah, but then you've also got scripted stuff where there is no banter or anything like that. But that's fine. That's what it's supposed to be there for, like Darknet Diaries.
I want to do a scripted podcast one day.
We did. It was called Redacted for Privilege.
Yes, but I want to do an actual one. Like a series. But anyway, that has gone so off topic, Pete. What I was really going to say was, Pete, how was your week?
My week is all right, I guess. Just obviously the ongoing situation in terms of work is still continuing, but it seems to be coming close to a resolution soon enough. So I'll be able to talk about that in a bit more detail soon.
Yes.
Other than that, I've got a lot of time to play some games this week, which has been great.
That's very
good. Got to play some Fall Guys with you guys and a few others on the Rapid Reviews Discord. I've also got another session of it tonight with my work peoples, which is going to be cool. But also, I got to play
Yes. Tell us about your experience with the new hit game that's at the top of the charts, Stray.
And has now formed a Twitter account called Cats Watching Stray.
Oh, I have to admit, I'm not a cat person as a rule, but I mean, still love animals. Just not my preference. But watching the cats watch the cat on TV is kind of funny.
It is. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
So Stray is a game that I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. Or as much as I do at the moment, because I'm only about an hour in.
Right.
It's interesting because it's very atmospheric, very interesting, and quite mysterious. And I quite like that.
I like it too.
So, it's quite basic in terms of its gameplay. At the moment, it apparently does have a few more moments within that do get a little bit more intense.
Right.
But it's quite a short game as well, so most people have been taking about 5 to 6 hours to complete it. So I think within the next week or so, I should, fingers crossed, have it done, and I should be able to give you my full thoughts on it.
I would like that for sure, because as I mentioned early in the week, between Pete, me, Nana, and Jonathan, wasn't it us? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were all having a lovely little chat. And I had watched Call Me Kevin, haha, my favorite YouTuber, playing a little bit of it. Like, he didn't play the whole game, obviously, but he played a good chunk of it. And I was actually surprised because I thought it was going to be, well, it's just not what I thought it was going to be, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more depth there than I realized. So.
Yeah, me too. When I kept looking at the trailers, like, I think you can actually go back and look at my messages in Discord. I think I was talking to Chloe about this, who I think ended up getting the review code for this, or is reviewing it. I think
that would be awesome. If so, I know she's playing it.
She's finished it, in fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I remember talking to her. I think when it was on the PlayStation. What did I call them? State of Play. That's
I was saying direct.
When it was on when it was on the State of Play, I went, it's a cat with a backpack. I'm not too sure what the actual general gameplay of this is going to be. I'm pretty sure what her words were, it's a cat with a backpack, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Or something along those lines. So I've been pleasantly surprised to see there's a lot more depth than I originally anticipated. And and it's the first game that I've ever actually played where I've gone, oh, this is the moment that was in the trailer. I forgot about this.
All right. So it shows that the trailers were accurate and in game.
Yeah.
That's your favorite thing.
They obviously did a little bit more polish in terms of the color that was used and some of the atmosphere, but it was almost identical.
Right.
So it was good.
I don't want to give any spoilers away. I was about to say
no,
something.
I'm not. That's why I'm skirting along the lines very much so. So it's a very interesting game. If you've got the PlayStation Plus extra and premium tiers, then you can get it for free. I air quoted for those audio listeners.
Yeah. Our beloved audio listeners.
But that's exactly why I did it. I had £20 for the rest of the gear to upgrade to the premium tier, so I just did it. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll report back with my findings about the new PS Plus service in a few weeks when I've actually had a chance to play some of the streamed PS3 games and the classics.
Yeah, I would like to know that. Because, as you can see in my background, I still only have the Xbox X, whatever that tiny one is. What is that?
Series X.
That one. Oh, it's raining. You can see my PS4.
Yeah, I can, but I can also see that your TV is on.
Yeah, I know.
It's not great for the environment.
It's really not. I've got to turn it off. But every time I turn it off, it takes 10 minutes for it to start back up. Because it's old. It's definitely 10 years old. It may be 12. It was the first thing I bought when I moved here.
Yeah.
And I think it had been on the shelf a couple of years. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. I still need an incentive because I still haven't felt like buying a PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I still don't think they're overly worth the money yet.
I don't think so either, but holy crap. You see those Sony
I also don't think the Xbox Series S or X is. It's Game Pass that does that.
Yeah, but that's my Game Pass machine. So.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. But I still have yet to see a reason to spend £450 on a new console yet. It's the sort
To
of
be
point
fair,
of what I'm going for here.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, obviously I haven't done it because look, I've still got the X. So, yeah, no.
Yeah, and bearing in mind this is coming from me, who spent £900 on those two consoles together. So
No, thank
I
you.
I can objectively say that my opinion is still wait.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok comes out in November. That might be worth the
gosh.
money, but it's still on PS4 as well. So
Is
who cares?
it?
Yes.
Okay, well then I'll be getting that too then.
Yeah, it's on
'Cause
PS4.
I love God of War. I really do.
Yep, so do I. I'll be getting the PS5 version.
I say this every time this comes up. 2018 was such a good year for games. It just freaking was. It was
Look,
just...
when you've got Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War going for Game of the Year, you know it's a good year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like 2017 where Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey were both out and vying for Game of the Year as well.
Yeah, and it's like, for me personally, again, I'm not knocking anyone else, but for me personally, nothing has matched 2018 for games. For me.
2017 for me, because what a year that was.
Yeah, because you're Nintendo. That's,
Well, yeah, that's the first year that the Switch was on shelves, and they literally had that 12 months of madness where they literally released
just
a
bam,
AAA
bam,
title
bam.
every month.
Even
though some of them were re-releases.
Well, I mean, we've long established that I don't play my Switch. I've turned it on once, and I made an account, and that was it. But I bought it because they just were like bam, 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 just coming out with like hits constantly.
Yeah, banger after banger after banger after banger.
That's what she said.
And ARMS. I know I've offended a lot of people.
You have, because that's a lot of people's favorite.
No, I'm joking. I really liked ARMS actually. It's just there wasn't nearly enough multiplayer stuff for me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, how was your week?
So my week has been fabuloso. Isn't that what the cleaners call it? Fabuloso.
I think they do.
I went back to the gym. Like, I know that's all I'm going to talk about, people, because it is my special interest. I am autistic, and that's just... My special interests are apparently the gym and cars. I didn't even know it was into cars, people. And then I see... We got to talk about this. Wait. Pete has no taste, my fellow friends. I was going to say my fellow Americans, but it's more than Americans. And he's flipping me off right now. I saw the most beautiful car in my life. Okay, no, that's too far, because I have actually seen some beautiful cars. Like, there's a Ferrari I really want. But, like, a beautiful, affordable car. For those who don't know, I just bought myself a convertible. And I love my convertible. And it's my baby, and I love it. But I have a work car, and so I'm always looking, like, I want to upgrade my work car. And so I saw this car. It was beautiful. It was a red 2021 Honda Civic R. Might be RS. Yeah, whatever. It's a racy, sporty deal.
It's a hot hatchback, let's say.
Whatever that means, it is the sexiest car ever. Its little booty is so cute.
For anyone who's into cars, they'll know exactly what a hot hatch is.
I don't know what that is. But it's so cute, and I love it. But even used, it is like $38,000, and I'm not ready for that. I just paid cash for my convertible, and so my tap is a little dry at the moment.
Yep.
But to me, it's a beautiful car. Pete hates it. Absolutely hates it.
Can't stand it. But that's because I like the classic type Honda Civic Type R from the 2000s.
So boring.
Wrong. It's because it was an action. First of all, it was a better car. It was better produced. And it has less faults than the new Honda Civic Type R.
I'll have to take your word for that, because my love of cars kind of stops at just if they're pretty or not.
Yeah, I like a good-looking car, and I think the Civic Type R from the 2000s is a better-looking car than the Triangle Mobile.
Oh, I love the Triangle Mobile. It's so cringy.
I can't stand it. I used one once. Like I tried. Someone I knew had one of the new Civics, and I looked at it. And I went, "This is gaudy. It's so
I love
horrible."
it.
And I tried to put my hand to open the door in this triangle door handle, and it felt weird. It was horrible.
It looks like something out of the Matrix or Halo or something. It's all geometric.
Oh,
But
no surprises there. It kind of looks like a warthog.
it does. Oh, I want a warthog. But my point being, so those are my two special interests, is like really cool looking cars and the gym.
Yeah.
So I got to go back to the gym this week for 4 days in a row. Sadly, I couldn't make it to the fifth one because the heat was crazy.
Yeah.
And you just cannot. I physically couldn't do it, and that's saying a lot. Anyway, I love it. I love being back. My little muscles are coming back. They're like, hey, I'm still here. I love being back around all the people that I left behind 2 years ago. For our listeners who don't know, Belfast, I have to think of where I lived. Belfast.
You've mentioned it nearly every week.
I know. But Northern Ireland, and essentially mostly Belfast, because that's where I live, went into severe lockdown, more than the rest of the country for like the first year. And then we had a second year lockdown that was really heavily enforced for people who, I heard it was called vulnerable. Which I have an autoimmune disorder, so I had to be careful, blah, blah, blah. So that meant 2 years. Bam. 2 years. I was stuck in a house. Couldn't leave. Miserable 2 years of my life. I'm not going to lie. But I get to go back to my life now. And so I'm so happy. I mean, people are actually remarking on the difference in my attitude and stuff. Which is good. And I got my first compliment this week that I'm looking healthy and well. Well, you're looking very well. And I was like, thank you very much. I'm working out again.
What day was that you were given that compliment?
Let's see, what's today? It was yesterday. Yesterday or Friday?
I'm afraid to say that was not your first compliment of the week then.
Oh?
Because I seem to recall a certain thing that I said on Thursday where I said, you sound a lot better than you have been in the last couple of weeks, and I'm pleased to hear it.
Yes. Pete also, Pete was one of the first ones to say that. Yes, you're correct. With people saying, oh, you're so much brighter and happy. It's because I have to be in a gym. I guess I'm like a Pokemon. I need a trainer and a gym, and oh my gosh, I am a Pokemon.
We'll get you your own Ash Ketchum.
That's what I need. I need an Ash. Oh my gosh, I'm a Pokemon. Anyway.
I'm not making that bad joke.
Oh, I'm not gonna go too deep.
Let's
into
not
that.
go there.
But let's see. Brent has a couple of comments actually. Pete, do you want to read them, or you want me to?
Yes, I can read them. He has stated, I wouldn't have bought Series X if my Xbox One hard disk drive hadn't been corrupted. Well, that makes sense.
That's why I bought mine. My Xbone it started erroring. So.
Yeah. Then again, you had a VCR.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's a big old tank.
For those who are uninformed about internet speak, the VCR is the launch Xbox One.
Which is what I had, yeah.
Yeah.
Big old brick.
I didn't get rid of my One X because of any reasons other than I could upgrade, so I did.
Yeah, so you did. Oh, that's right, because you had the plan.
All access, yeah. So despite the pitfalls of trying to get one in the long run, and that was well documented on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did manage to get some money back for that Xbox One once it became mine, so I don't care. So the last thing said, my sister got one too, and I guess that's to do with a convertible. But no convertibles since she lives in Chicago.
Oh, wait, did she get a Honda Civic?
Could be. I guess it was the new car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yes. So there's our banter. We will move now to the next stage of the podcast. Yes.
Piffy banter aside, let's get on to news.
Yes. All the Newsies, you can use these. Pete, would you like
You do know I am actually using that as the name this week.
Excellent.
It's a good name. I'm sticking with it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So quick, we'll go through some quick short stories to start us off because
I like
there's been
quick
a
and
lot over
short.
the last. There's been a lot of news stories over the last week or so, and some of them are varying degrees of importance.
Right.
So
Such
let's
as
start
like.
off with this one, where because obviously we've spoken about it already, Xbox
Mhm.
insiders have had an early access to the flight of the co-op update for Halo Infinite, and Brent did clarify new Civic hatchback.
It's beautiful, isn't it, Brent? Anyway, that doesn't have to do with Halo co-op. So
No, it doesn't, but it kind of does.
kind of does because it looks like a warthog.
Oh wait, rock paper shotgun.
What are you doing?
Buggers. No, I'm trying to load the news story, but ad
Oh,
block.
oh, wonderful. Pete, you should be prepared.
No, I really hate that. I really do. It's like, oh, this is not free. Go turn off your ad block. No,
I
that's
know.
kind of the point why I have it.
Yeah, you should do.
Thing.
Never mind.
Let's not talk about that. Let's
Yeah.
carry on.
We will carry on. But as
well, give me the chance to actually read the article, then, you stupid. Anyway, so this is coming from Rock Paper Shotgun. I don't know why I've used Rock Paper Shotgun this time. So it says Halo Infinite's many modes and features have been trickling out piecemeal, and next up is the sci-fi shooters co-op campaign. 8 months after the game first launched, co-op is now in public beta testing for those who have signed up to the Halo Insider program for at least 3 months and have an Insider XP of 5 or higher. So this was something that we were talking about the other day, where you didn't actually know how to get onto this beta. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But the co-op test is available to players who own the game or play via Xbox Game Pass, as well as those who own the game via Steam. It will run through until August 1st.
Well, we have an award-winning comment in the comment section, Pete, if you would like to read it.
Okay, yep. So Mike, Mr. Overlord himself, thank you for joining us. Has put, I've played it this week and was really impressed with how they implemented it. Had 0 issues. Played it with Alicia from the Rapid Reviews team. That's good to hear.
Shout
I'm
out
pleased
to
that you
Rapid
have.
Reviews.
Yes, regular sessions on games happening on
Oh,
weeks.
that is true. Yeah, definitely. If you're a listener or a watcher, come join us because we do play a lot of games together, group games.
Yes, stick around to the end where we will talk about where to find that.
Yeah.
So, Kylie, you wanted us to bring this up. So, have you had a chance to play it play this yet?
I haven't because I don't have anyone to co-op with, but I look forward to it in a way. Someone said the other day, if you have any memories of Halo, and this is any game from Halo, those memories are probably of playing it with somebody else. And they aren't wrong. Well, see, for me, yes. My happiest memories playing Halo, I've played Halo since the day it dropped. But my happiest memories of Halo were Halo 3, where I did have a co-op buddy that we just played all the time. Oh, Mike says I'll join you. Yeah, that would be cool, Mike.
Oh, I know.
I
was actually going to bring this up to you and say I still haven't completed the campaign, so it might be the ways for me to actually finish the campaign.
Yeah, for me, the enjoyment, like, don't get me wrong, I do love solo play, as I've mentioned many, many times on any game. But there is something about co-oping on Halo that just feels good. It feels natural. It feels like teamwork. And I hope that this co-op gives the same kind of feels type of thing. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. It's just pure, unadulterated fun. And that's all I care about.
Okay.
So I hope that's
would you say the same about solo campaign on Infinite, though?
Solo campaign on Infinite, I enjoyed. I completed it in 10 hours, as we know. Mm-hmm. But I think had it been released with co-op, it would have been much more enjoyable. I think.
Yeah. Mike has literally come in with one more comment and says, one of my favourite memories was completing the Halo 3 campaign with 3 other mates in one night.
Yes!
Sounds like a bomb.
Oh,
So anyway, we must
Happy
rattle
memories.
through these short
Yeah.
stories a little bit quicker.
Yes,
So,
because I have to get out of here.
oh, I know. So do I. So we're going to move on to this story that's coming to us from trusted source VGC, as per usual. So FIFA 23 for Switch doesn't include any new gameplay features or modes.
Compared to what? I'm not familiar with FIFA. Compared to like every other one?
Let me just read the story and you'll become informed about what's going on with this one. Electronic Arts has confirmed that the Switch version of FIFA 2023 won't offer any of the new gameplay features or modes included in other editions of the game.
Oh.
So, affectionately known as the Legacy Edition, it means that it will have the same gameplay features and modes from FIFA 2022.
Oh.
So it was announced this week that FIFA 23 will be released on September 30th, 2022 for PS5, Series X and S, PC, Stadia, PS4 and Xbox One. So obviously we've got the Legacy Edition coming to the Switch. So the reason why this is actually in the news stories, and it's a very good reason for this, is because ever since they launched FIFA on the Switch in terms of the Legacy Editions, I will get to that comment in a moment, Mike, is the fact that the Legacy Edition has not included any of the features or modes that have been included on the actual main release of the game. So essentially what they have done, and I'm pretty sure that you knew about this anyway, because I think a review outlet last year literally reviewed this game as same as last year's version, not re-reviewing.
Right.
So essentially, ever since 2018, I think it is, they've released the Legacy Editions on Switch, which are the same game for many years.
Right.
So they've done it again with FIFA 2023.
Right.
So, yeah. I'm going to go to these comments. So, Mike called it the FIFA 2023 Scumbag Edition.
Yep.
Which is more apt. He also said leave Stadia alone, and I'm not doing the meme. Also, Brent has then put typical EA anti-consumerism. Yes, it is. So this is just absolute hideousness again.
Yeah. EA is the worst company. Voted worst company many years ago.
Yes, it is. So, Mike, if we do happen to get a code for FIFA 2023 on the Switch, I will gladly review it and give you a two-line review of not wasting my time.
Same as last year.
Okay. He also said that it's basically new kits and stadiums, which is basically the same across all versions anyway. I think the most egregious part, I think the most egregious part is the fact that it's the same game packaged up and it costs like 50 quid. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's move on. So, what news story do we tackle next? We'll go for this one. So, I may have said something in the week that was incorrect, so I want to clear that up to you right now.
Okay.
No Man's Sky's new update was not shadow dropped. It was announced in February.
Oh, okay. Wow. But I thought they had an update back then.
They did. But it was also announced that they had a lot more coming.
That's what she said. Yes.
Yeah. So a new update has been released for No Man's Sky called Endurance. The update was teased in February, but was released a few days ago on the 20th of July. Please, we must also note, this is also a free update.
Yes.
And I think it's like the 16th or 17th.
20th.
Or 20th. Bloody
free
hell.
update. 20th free
20th.
update.
20th free update that has come from No Man's Sky since its launch in 2016?
Yeah, it was early days.
2015 or 2016. It was either one of the two. So, very interestingly, we will go over this because I have the Hello Games website pulled up. So, it states as, hello Games. It's been an incredibly busy year for No Man's Sky with the release of Sentinel, Leviathan, and Outlaws, the Steam Deck, the Switch, the PSVR 2, and macOS coming very soon. Today we are releasing what is probably our biggest update of the year, our 20th major free update. Perhaps fittingly, we're calling it Endurance, and the focus is on freighters, frigates, and fleets. So, we've introduced the ability to own and captain freighters in our very first update, Foundation. This is where we probably should have had Kieran on to discuss this because he at least knows the game. Damn you, Kieran! I put you a news story in here. You're joining us. I'm joking. We love you, Kieran. Right. And it's something that we've been excited to take the opportunity to completely reinvent. Captaining a fleet to explore the unknown has always been the core to that fantasy of science fiction, from Battlestar to Starfleet, and it's a huge fan favourite. Endurance brings a complete overhaul of freighters and fleets, allowing players to live and work aboard their home in the stars, together with their own crew. A new bridge brings a range of quality of life improvements with instant access to warping and teleportation.
Ooh, nice. I like
it. Players can now build vast freighter bases on a scale never before seen, with specially themed areas and new features for growing food and manufacturing, and new technology like the ability to scan and analyze planets from space.
Yes!
I'm not going into any more because this could go on forever, and this is supposed to be a short news story, but from the sounds of it, it's all stuff that probably should have been at launch, probably all stuff that was promised at launch.
Yes.
But take nothing away from the fact that, my goodness, 23 updates for a game that was essentially dead on arrival.
For our watchers, they'll understand this, but our listeners might not. But talk about a redemption arc.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge redemption arc. Like, this is the game that was essentially thrown under the bus by Sony after it took a big fat nosedive.
Yep.
Hello Games actually went into hiding for a while, kept themselves quiet, and didn't give any updates about the game whatsoever. And then when they finally managed to crawl themselves out of the UK-based cave that they're in, they gave us a hell of an update.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now started to change the minds of players everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So 23 updates later and a release on pretty much every console out there to known to man. And this has become the greatest redemption arc in gaming history, I think.
I could see that, yeah. I could agree with that statement. Yeah.
Also, it's an excellent blueprint for a certain CD Projekt Red to possibly follow when it comes to Cyberpunk, but no, they decided not to shut up.
Yes.
So, I've said everything I need to say about this. I've really wanted to play No Man's Sky for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to go and actually do it now.
Yeah.
Opinions? Thoughts? Any more?
Well, it's becoming more and more a game that I like. I'm not going to say love. Because it's becoming more and more the type of game I enjoy very much playing. And a few more tweaks and it might actually be the perfect game.
I think it could be close. Really could be.
But, I mean, we say that and then Starfield will come out and maybe that's the perfect game for me. For me.
Well,
not for our audience.
Well, I'm definitely going to be playing this before Starfield comes out for sure.
Well, yeah. I definitely think...
considering all the comparisons that everybody made to everything that was said about Starfield, and I was still positive about it.
No Man's Skyrim.
Yes.
I'm going to say that every time.
Oh, I know you are, and I heard it a lot.
Yes. I even typed it in our chat, people.
Yeah. Also, Mike has come in with a funny comment to the fact that I said about FIFA 2023's 2-line review. He said rapid review.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine the reading time estimation on that?
30 seconds, if that. Not going to make the joke.
Yep.
I think it's implied.
Yep.
Let's move on to the fight.
I wonder if in Starfield it'll take 30 seconds to get to Mars. Okay.
Oh. I didn't want to mention anything to do with Jared Leto in this show, but let's move on.
Yes.
So this is the final shorter news story. I apologise, we may go longer on this one.
Haha, that's what you said.
This always happens, though, doesn't it?
It
Because
does.
if you're a fan of the show and have been for a long time, you know Kylie and mine's discontent at what happened with The Last of Us Part Two
Oh,
and the series of events that occurred leading up to that, including the copyright strikes by a certain Muso Interactive, Sony copyright striking themselves, which was hilarious.
that is hilarious.
The game coming out to very mixed impressions across the player base, and yeah, basically sweeping awards at the Shill Awards,
Gosh.
also
Yes.
known as the Game Awards.
Yes.
So it's with that that I want to take a moment to remember that you are a fan of The Last of Us.
Yeah. I always like to establish that that this isn't me, coming out and being like, this woke BS. I'm not coming at it from that angle whatsoever. I'm
Yeah.
coming at it as a legacy fan, let's say.
Yes. And I'm coming at it from someone who's never played the series and looking for a reason to play the series.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this editorial in just right now for my sake. Naughty Dog aren't giving me any reasons to want to at the moment.
And I don't disagree with you there.
So let's move on and state, coming from VGC, Naughty Dog releases official Last of Us remake gameplay after Hurtful leaks.
Unbelievable. Why are they using emotional language in a news story?
No, that's a quote.
I know it is.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
So Naughty Dog has shown off the first official Last of Us
from
Part
Naughty
1 gameplay, following a series of leaks that the developers have described as disheartening, frustrating, and hurtful.
That's why, you know what? I think that's why I don't like Naughty Dog. They're emotionally manipulating people, and I don't like emotional manipulators.
Yes, neither do I. So the 10-minute video, 10-minute features and gameplay deep dive video includes interviews with the directors of The Last of Us Part 1, who discuss how the team went in and rebuilt the beloved game from the ground up. I'm getting into this in a minute.
Okay.
An accompanying PlayStation blog post confirms the game can render native 4K at a targeted 30 FPS, or a dynamic 4K at 60.
Right.
Yes. The PS5's powerful hardware drives a host of visual benefits, from denser physics with tons of bumpables and chippables. Bullets can now rip apart concrete and environmental objects, and cinematics now transition seamlessly to gameplay. It reads. Motion matching technology means that the character animations flow more convincingly, intuitively, and realistically, or adding another layer of believability to characters and their interactions within the world. Further, AI upgrades means that characters inhabit the world in a more authentic and realistic way, such as buddy characters navigating cover to avoid enemy NPC sightlines more authentically.
That was one of the
They've
main
also
complaints.
they've also included a permadeath mode and a speedrun mode. There's also unlockable costumes for Joel and Ellie. Sort of just skimming past this.
Yeah.
So the bulk of the story has come about. So the release of the official gameplay follows a number of leaks showing off the game's intro, combat, and accessibility options, among other features. Now, I didn't include the accessibility options article as part of this because that's a whole different story, and we could obviously have covered that in a lot more detail, but suffice to say, it was the only positive thing that we had to say about The Last of Us Part 2 was the massive amount of accessibility options, and they've done the same with this as well. So
which is good.
Credit where credit is due. Huge amount of praise needs to be said for that. So, so this has come from Naughty Dog themselves. Leaks really suck. Yeah, thanks for that. Especially when we're right on the cusp of an asset drop. It's disheartening and frustrating to teams who have put their hearts into making awesome things for our fans. Naughty Dog senior editor Samuel Prince echoed Arnie Meyer's thoughts about the leaks. They're extremely hurtful to the developers who work tirelessly to bring you these wonderful games. Public-facing assets take a long time to create, revise, prove, localize, clear legal, ESRB, etc. Be kind.
Where do they think the leaks came from? Silly gooses.
I think they are controlled leaks.
Well, there is that. As we know, I'm very cynical towards leaks for that reason.
Yep.
But even if they weren't controlled leaks, they still come from there.
Yeah, it's not like they've just, someone has hacked. Someone could have easily have hacked into them, but obviously the source is still Naughty Dog
Exactly.
because they're the ones making the game.
Yeah. So it's
So
like, check your own. I don't know what the saying is.
check thyself before you wreck thyself.
Yeah. The whole plank in the eye thing. But okay, so wait, is that finished the story? And then
No,
okay.
well, kind of, because I do want to touch on it a little bit more. So, the main thing that I wanted to mention in terms of this, well, the main two things that I wanted to mention is, what the hell is going on at Naughty Dog that their security is so incredibly lapsed that every single game that they are releasing at the moment leaks badly, and I mean badly. Like, to the point where it's leaking a couple of days before, like, either the game's released or they're due to show something major.
Yeah.
Like, The Last of Us Part 1 itself was leaked by Sony a few hours before it was announced.
Yeah.
These gameplay leaks have come a few days before they were due to announce them. They had to push the schedule up to release them because of the leaks. It's ridiculous. Sort your security out.
Exactly.
You clearly haven't done enough, or you're doing this on purpose. You're doing this to manufacture and generate hype for a game that doesn't need to generate hype.
That's for sure. That's that emotional manipulation crap. I hate that crap.
Yeah, they've done it again. It's always the way, and I'm really getting quite bored of this. This has become very much a staple of the fact that since Neil Druckmann's become co-president, it's how they operate.
They're not my favorite people.
They're my least favorite people in the industry at the moment.
But here's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you'll have a counterpoint to this, which is good for our listeners. Remakes, as far as remakes go, I think that this would be very similar to the original Master Chief Collection, which had, like Halo 2, where you could, like, flip back and forth between the original and the new one and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's essentially like Halo CE Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yeah, that. That was okay. People were very, very doubtful when that first was announced, and then when it was first released, and then it was released and it was awesome, and I love it. I actually prefer Halo 2, the newer remastered version, which I never thought I'd say. But after I played it, I was like, no, this they did do well.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have to agree with you because I played Halo 2 Anniversary on the Master Chief Collection, and I remember it being a lot cleaner of an experience than the original Xbox version.
See, that's what's so funny to me, and this is what I think people get kind of up in arms about remakes and stuff. When I set out to play Halo 2, the remake, I had not that long before played the original Halo 2 as just a replay, because that's what I do. I just replay my games. Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're not going to make this any different, My experience is great, blah, blah. But because I could flip back and forth between the two, I was like, oh, this is actually really different. And then, so I've been looking at the before and after shots of the remake versus original of Last of Us, which is now Last of Us Part 1. And I actually think they've done a really good job to an extent. Here's the thing, though. And then adding the accessibility options and stuff, of course, is wonderful. And the quality of life improvements is wonderful. And let me state first, I don't care what people spend their money on. Do what you want. If it makes you happy, you go for it. That's not...
You work hard for your money, you spend it how you like.
Yep, I'm out.
Just as long as you're not morally bankrupting yourself and getting yourself kicked out of your house because you're spending it on two other things that shouldn't be meant to live, but, that's on you.
Yeah, so even then, I don't care. Do what you want. Live and
That's
let
because
live.
I'd rather not see an epidemic of homeless, to be honest.
Because they bought last. Sorry, that is hilarious, Pete, and that should be a Saturday Night Live sketch. That is brilliant. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh, but is it worth $70 pounds? I don't know, man. That's a lot of money.
Can I have my disparaging point here?
Yes.
No, it is not worth £70 or $70. Not from what I've seen.
I'm kind of getting one over. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I would spend it. Like, I have no intention of buying the new one.
Nope.
You know, I played it. It was an enjoyable experience as far as, like, it's a very character-driven story. Pete and I discussed this earlier, which is my favorite. It's not, it's not a great narrative story, but it's a very good, it's an endearing, sweet, character-driven story, which is why I hate Last of Us Part 2, by the way. And the gunplay was always terrible. Apparently the gunplay is still terrible. The AI was terrible, but apparently that's better. And I'm glad they added, whatever it was we just said.
Yeah. It is funny, though, because we were talking about this, obviously, when we were doing our planning of the week, and I brought this up, and I said, look, I didn't know if I wanted to bring this up because I didn't want to be pigeonholed into a certain demographic of Last of Us people who are literally pooping on the game for no apparent reason.
Right.
I didn't want to be sort of put in with that crowd because we've done a lot of stuff on The Last of Us in the past.
Like,
such as discussions and stuff like that.
Roundtables.
About the leaks and about Muto Interactive and all that. There was a lot of stuff to do with The Last of Us Part 2 that we covered in a lot of depth, and I didn't want to be pigeonholed into that aspect. But the reason why I brought this up is because I think this remake is a joke. The whole thing is a joke.
I don't think it was needed, but it's not awful.
No, after seeing this now, it's not.
It's fine.
Yeah,
you spend their money on that, fine.
I'm
not going to. But
no, I'm not going to either because, I mean, that PS5 behind me, right?
Yes.
Let me just tell you a little interesting thing about this, right?
Right.
So I've got the PS5 behind me. If you have PS Plus and the new tiers that you got, you get access to something known as the PlayStation Collection, which, interesting enough, has the remastered version of The Last of Us on there for part of your subscription fee for a game that has been re-released on the PS4. Doesn't need a PS5 remake. Doesn't need it. But after seeing what I have seen, it looks nice.
I mean,
it does look really nice, with exception to the environments look more washed out than the previous game.
Yeah, that's weird.
The character models aren't nearly as interesting as I thought they were going to be, and I actually really prefer the original art style in terms of that. It actually has a lot more character.
I was going to say, there's kind of an uncanny valley to them.
Yeah, there is now, for sure. Third was the gameplay. That gameplay doesn't look like it's been improved in any way, shape, or form, which is the biggest thing for me about not playing The Last of Us. Is that I've heard that the gameplay is terrible. Especially the gunplay.
The gunplay's terrible.
And considering that they've had The Last of Us Part 2, where apparently the gunplay was much better, why haven't they implemented it in this game for £70? Yeah. Why can't you go prone in this game when you could in Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah.
This just feels like a cash grab to me again. And I'm not happy about it.
They swear it's not.
But it feels like it to me.
Yeah.
So that's the side which I'm coming from. You could do all the accessibility options in the world of what you like. If you don't improve your game, then you're not going to get my money.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have a review code and someone will review it and I will read their review. Because I'm probably not going to buy this game. Now, whenever I say I'm not going to do something, I end up doing it. So I'm going to say, more than likely, I'm not going to buy this game. So.
But you may do. Considering it's coming to PC as well.
I withhold my thoughts on that. It's a
But I
good
did see the cogs turn in your head going, oh, it's on
look.
PC.
I want to say this, and I say this every time we bring up Last of Us. Last of Us Part 1, which is what it's called now.
Stupid.
Yeah, is a good character-driven story. If you like character-driven stories, it's a good one, and I do. If you're heavy on plot, narrative or settings, nah, maybe choose a different game.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But we'll see once it comes out. Hopefully, we may have a review for it if someone wants to review it, because we don't tend to get Sony codes very frequently, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Probably because they want those pre-approved, like, positive impressions.
Don't get me started.
I'd missed that completely. Sorry.
I said don't get me started.
Yeah, I'm not going into that one. That's a whole topic by itself. So let's move on to some of the largest stories that we've had for this week.
Give me the big one.
Microsoft's Activision buyout could be approved by the FTC as soon as next month. The Xbox firm has reportedly triggered a 30-day window for any final challenges. Now, do you want to go into a bit? We can read the article a little bit from VGC, and then we could obviously go into it, because you'll definitely know a lot more about how this works in terms of the US.
So, yeah.
Microsoft's ongoing acquisition of Activision Blizzard could be approved by the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, as soon as next month. FTC has asked Microsoft and Activision Blizzard for additional information in March as it continued to review their proposed acquisition deal. According to paywalled merger news provider Deal Reporter via Seeking Alpha, Microsoft has now provided the FTC with the information it was looking for. As noted by the FTC's own guidance via Real Me Central, this means the body now has 30 days to challenge the acquisition, otherwise the deal can continue. There are some caveats to this, however. As the FTC guidance on the process points out, both companies have to provide the required information before the 30-day countdown can begin. This is a quote. Typically, once both companies have substantially compiled with the second request, the agency has an additional 30 days to review the materials and take action if necessary. So it's not clear whether Activision has provided its share of the requested information yet. If not, the 30-day window will presumably only start when it does. Now, I'm gonna say on speculation alone, this one, considering that Activision Blizzard wants to be bought, why would they not?
Right. See, I think that this is good for people who are into like acquisitions and stuff. Not that I'm into them. It's just that it's just part of my stuff, my daily grind.
As a business owner, you would know about. You'd have a passing interest in acquisitions and mergers.
So, this is a very good contrast to the whole Elon Musk thing. This Microsoft Activision merger is playing out exactly the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
All of the checks and balances, all the people doing their background work. I mean, you had even the Congress people, up in arms and doing their own little thing. All that's actually pretty straightforward and normal. It just gets more. I guess it gets more journalistic attention because it's Microsoft, and maybe because Activision was so terrible as morally terrible.
I think that was definitely the reason why. Is because they were looking for, definitely looking for more coverage in terms of that, and it sort of, as a result of the buyout, it sort of has stopped all that news to do with the Californian
lawsuit.
The Californian lawsuit, yeah.
Well, see, and so for me, it's been a kind of a weird ride, because it's like people keep producing these stories and they're like, oh my gosh, and it's like, there's literally not, this is normal. This is a normal pace. This is a normal pace for two companies that want to merge, that have agreed, have done a pre-deliberation thing. Arbitration. That's the word I was looking for. So it's mostly just waiting out the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything happening in the next 30 days that's going to derail this at all. my personal thing is, yeah, I'm still really annoyed that Bobby Kotick has any position in the company. But I strongly believe in Phil Spencer with all my heart and soul. And so I think once the acquisition has happened, then we'll hear a little bit something. But up until that point, this is all very normal, very typical. Whereas the Elon Musk acquiring Twitter thing has not been normal from day one.
No, none of it has been.
You could, if you know anything about acquisitions, you knew that Elon Musk was not serious from day one. And it's
proven the fact that he's withdrawn that.
Yeah, he was just doing it for attention, I guess. Now that's my supposition. I have no idea what he's doing because now he's going to draw this out. This could take up to 2 years.
Okay.
So compare and contrast. Microsoft and Activision is exactly playing by the book.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think it is possible that with the Twitter and the Twitter takeover by Elon Musk he was trying to sort of get this done as quickly as possible, so it wasn't looked into any further?
I think if you want to know my honest stuff, so Elon Musk has come out as, that's such a dumb phrase for what I'm about to say, as having Asperger's, which is the same type of autism that I have, which is no longer it's no longer recognized. It's just called autism spectrum disorder, but it is quite different. If you ask my personal opinion, part of that is impulsivity, which I have an extreme problem with, as I think Pete knows.
No.
Yes. I mean, I went and paid cash for a freaking convertible. So.
Color me shocked.
Yeah. So.
I'm shocked. Shocked. Well actually, not that
shocked. Yeah. So impulsivity is a huge factor in this Asperger's brain of mine. And he also has the same thing. I think he was on a whim, and he was like, I want to buy this. And they were like, dude, you can't buy this. He's like, I want to buy it now. And he's like, no. They're like, no, dude, no. And he's like, I'm doing it. Because, even myself, if you tell me I can't do something, well, I'm going to do it, even if it hurts me. And I think that's the whole reason. It wasn't because he's a stand-up guy for free speech, or because someone hurt his feelings because they said he was fat or whatever, because that was the original thing, or he wants to own the libs. No, I think he just went, I want to buy a new toy, and they said, no, you can't. And he goes, I'm buying it anyway, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now there's buyer's remorse. Yeah. Which,
I get that impression too.
Sometimes I have buyer's remorse if I go crazy. I bought like a bunch. I don't wear high heels. Except for when I'm performing, and I haven't performed in 2 years. I bought like a 500-pound pair of high heels. Why did I do that?
Be for FanFare 2023.
They will be perfect for that. But my point is, I have buyer's remorse, and that I believe personal opinion is exactly what he's experiencing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read this final part of this. It's not the final part of the story, but it's the final part of what I feel is appropriate. So, once the FTC has received the information from both companies, there are 3 potential outcomes. FTC could either close the investigation and let the merger proceed unchallenged.
Yeah, which is probably what's going to happen.
Yep. Negotiate with the companies to add some further rules that will make sure the market stays competitive.
They've proven it's not at risk.
Yep.
So.
Or seek to stop the deal by filing a preliminary injunction in federal court.
I mean, that could happen, but there's no reason for it to happen. Because the FTC...
What would that be?
If they could actually prove that there was a monopoly or some kind of shady deal, or, again, to use Elon Musk's thing, like he said, oh, there's bots, and they didn't do their due diligence, but the paperwork says they did do their due diligence. Well, that would be kind of like if Microsoft or Activision said, oh, Microsoft didn't do their due diligence, and then FTC went, yep, and then, then they were like, we're going to file a thing. So, yeah.
Actually, sorry, I've just looked at the last bit of this story.
Uh-huh.
This is quite important, I think, so I'm going to include it as well.
Has it happened?
Sorry?
No, just keep going.
So it says, however, the other major caveat is the deal is also being investigated by the Competition
Well,
and
see.
Markets Authority,
Hmm.
the UK-based equivalent of the FTC.
Yeah.
So the CMA has set a deadline of September 1st to give its initial decision on the matter. And if it decides the
won't.
merger shouldn't go ahead for whatever reason, then the deal may still not be done.
Well, but see, that is what is called. You know how like the UK has a referendum vote.
Yep.
You know, like it's just it's not binding, but you could have one type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing for the commission with the FTC. They can make a recommendation. Well, here's you know, and then the FTC could go, okay, we've got enough evidence. Let's file in an injunction. But it's just just not gonna happen.
No, unlikely. Like that's the thing I look at this as, and so someone who's obviously not as well versed in anti-competitive laws as you probably are.
Only Americans. I'm only.
You would know.
Yeah, but I'm only
you know
with American ones.
Okay.
A little bit of the UK,
now,
but not enough.
Yeah. Now, my thoughts about this is that even if the CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority, was to state that they didn't think that this deal should go ahead, surely they don't technically have the authority over two businesses that are based solely within the US.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. They can just give the FTC a recommendation. Well, this
so
is
that's
what we
I mean.
found.
So the recommendation itself, like, doesn't necessarily mean a binding decision.
Exactly. It's like a referendum vote. It's not a binding decision. It's a, hey, this could happen.
It's a, just so you know, this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, here's some evidence to prove. You do with it whatever you will, basically.
Yeah. But I will say this. Microsoft's been around a long time. And they would be the type of company from the old days that has all of their T's crossed and I's dotted. You know, it would be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible to find, you know, a weak point or whatever, but it's just very, very unlikely. Very unlikely.
It seems very unlikely that would be the case. So we'll see. But obviously, they have a deadline of the 1st of September to give that. So that's just over a month. So we have a couple of comments from Brent on this one. So he said, can you imagine Activision Blizzard games and Ubisoft Plus games on Game Pass Ultimate by the end of the year?
Yes.
I can, and I think it's going to happen.
Yep.
And FTC could choose to wait for the UK recommendations before closing investigation. However, yes, they could. Exactly. They very well could. So that's why I think we won't hear anything now on this probably until that deadline comes. So I think the CMA are probably going to take as long as possible.
Because they'll run it up to the Yeah,
because being someone who is English and British and knows how our system works, we wait till last minute for nearly everything.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started about the Irish.
Let's not. Let's move on. Because I want to talk about an effing idiot.
Okay, yeah, because we're running out of time. Yes.
Yes. Unity's CEO promises to do better after calling devs not prioritizing monetization effing idiots.
I mean, wait, do you want to read a little bit more before I go on my tirade?
We shall, and by the way, the guy has the best name to say of all time. See, Unity CEO John Riccatello.
Oh, goodness. Oh, dear.
It just rolls off the tongue. It rolls off. He has apologized and promised to do better after calling the developers not prioritizing monetization effing idiots in an interview this week. Riccatello made the controversial comments in an interview with PocketGamer.biz. Who? Sorry, who? PocketGamer.biz. What the heck is that?
They got a lucky scoop.
They did, because they're now very popular, clearly, as a result of this.
There you go.
In which he was asked about pushback from some developers to the suggestion that monetization should be implemented earlier in the creative process of games. In response, Riccatello said that some of these people are my favourite people in the world to fight with. They're the most beautiful, pure, brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest effing idiots.
Oh my gosh. I love him.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I love him. I can't help it. Yeah.
Let's be honest, he's not wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to wait until you were done before I go on my little
Yeah. So after
spiel.
the exec's comments blew up on social media and across industry news publications, Riccatello tweeted to claim that the reporting of his words was clickbait and out of full context. Riccatello, well done, mate. Well done.
You should go and
You haven't.
apologize.
You obviously you don't know how shock and awe reporting works.
Oh my goodness.
What did you get this interview?
That's
Anyway.
Yes.
So, however, by Saturday, the Unity boss published a lengthy apology for his comments and attempted to explain more context behind his thinking. Now, this is a long statement. I'm just going to read the statement as is, and we'll discuss.
Okay.
So, I want to talk about both what I said in the interview and the follow-up tweet. I'm going to start with an apology. My word choice was crude. I am sorry. I am listening, and I will do better. Never apologise, John. Never apologise. Anyway, carry on. I'll get to that point in a minute. There is a point behind why I say never apologise.
Yes.
What I can do, perhaps, is provide more on what I was thinking when I did the interview. What I would have said if I'd have taken great care. First, I have great respect for game developers. The work they do is amazing. Creativity can be incredible, whether on a AAA console, mobile, or indie game designed to be played by millions, or a creative project. A game made just for sheer joy of it. Second, one thing I have seen is that most game devs work incredibly hard and want people to play their game, to enjoy it, and when appropriate, for players to engage deeply. For game devs I have worked most closely with, there is often anxiety about whether players will love the game and appreciate all the work and love that went into making it. Third, sometimes all a game developer wants is to have a handful of friends enjoy the game. Art for art's sake and art for friends. Others want player Others want player money to buy. This statement is weird. To buy the game or game items so that they can make a living. Both of these motivations are noble. Fourth, what I was trying to say, and clearly failed at this time, is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn from their feedback, and if the developer wants to adjust the game based on his feedback. It's a choice to listen and act, or just to listen. Again, both are very valid choices. If I'd have been smarter in choosing my words, I would have said just this. We are working to provide developers with tools so they can better understand what the players think, and it's up to them to act or not based on their feedback. Anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a statement I wish I had never said.
I'm sure he does regret it.
He does now.
Yeah.
Regret is a very interesting thing.
Yes, there you go. Are you preparing your speech now?
I've already had to apologise
Yeah.
on this show numerous times, and I will not do it again.
That's why we have a generic Pete's apology video. Go check it out. It's on our Twitch page.
It's just stayed there forever.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
it's anytime Pete does a mistake, just press play on it, and it'll just be him apologizing.
Is that the one where I did the YouTuber?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That one.
The typical. I done messed up,
Yep.
and I now need to take a huge sigh in front of the camera just to show how annoyed, how upset I am by this.
But
I'm upset. I got caught in 4K.
oh gosh, there you go. But oh god, we need to remaster your apology. But no, what I have to say.
No,
we are
because
running out
that
of time.
apology is only less than 2 years old. I will not
there you go.
remaster something
Okay.
that's less than 2 years old.
Oh my gosh, we have to do that next year. We have to release one that says remastered. Anyway, that's not my point. We're off
Yeah,
topic.
and then a year later we'll remake it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? So, this is a case of he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, he did.
Because he's not wrong. Well, first of all, an opinion isn't wrong, you know.
No, it's like what Jonathan said last week. Opinions are like buttholes.
And they all smell. I think he said stink, but I always say smell.
Yeah, he says that everyone has one and they always smell.
Yeah. And the thing is, yeah, so as a business person like I am, I always am looking for a business opportunity. Everything is a business opportunity for me. If it's not an actual direct business opportunity, then it's an opportunity to help someone else out, which has like
to help their business.
Yeah. So if you could be a pro-business socialist, that's what I am. And you can be. It's called Trotskyism. Look it up. Anyway. So, I get where he's coming from. Yes, I don't understand why some people don't monetize certain things. Some people do things, and I'm like, because I know a lot of crafts people and stuff like that, and I'm like, why are you not at, St. George's Market selling this? People will buy it. And they're like, but I'm just doing it for fun. I just give it to my friends. And it's like, monetize it. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, fine. And that's essentially what he was doing, is he was just like, in his mind, as in mine, why aren't you monetizing it? Why aren't you using these tools to make money? It wasn't really, in my perception anyway, the way I interpret this, it was never a knock on the people who create, free or indie games for the love of the game or for providing entertainment or art, for people. It was more a kind of just exasperated, generalized comment of, you have all these tools at your disposal.
Get
Make
paid,
money.
basically.
Yeah, get paid. Money, 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 money.
Yeah.
And I think he's quite the character. I just think he's like most CEOs. We're weird people. We're weird people. We're eccentric. Yep. We say the wrong thing at the wrong time because we don't have anyone over us. Like, I have no one that... I don't have a PR person. I don't have anyone that... And even if I did, I'm the top of my company. You know what I mean? Like, I make the decisions. I do whatever I want. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. And I'm not used to having to watch myself or watch my words. So you'll get... Yeah, so a lot of CEOs are very quiet, or they have a PR person talk for them, because if you let us talk, we will hang ourselves.
Yeah, you've done it in numerous times.
I have to go, wait, let me change that so that, humans can understand what I actually mean. And I think that's the case here. I think he's quite the character. To be fair, I don't know if I would have apologized quite the same way, because I'm quite a strange person myself, but I don't blame him either. Unity is ubiquitous. It's the most common, like, you see a lot of apps and indie games use Unity as their engine. So he has to cover his, CYA, cover his ES. And, apologizing does that. Hopefully that ended up... I mean, someone definitely wrote that apology for him.
Maybe.
And it's definitely worded,
I would say someone ghost wrote it for him.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And whether it's just like a PR person or something, I need a PR person. Anyway.
No, I am not doing it.
I need one.
I can't even like do it myself.
I need a PR person and a social media person. I'm just throwing that out there, universe, if you want to manifest it for me. Also, I'd like someone to run my company so that I can go and take lessons to be a personal trainer.
You could sell your company and then do that.
Absolutely not. I will never sell my company.
It's an option.
No. But this is why CEOs aren't allowed to talk, because we are very strange individuals.
Well, there you go. You've just proved it.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of enjoy his antics. Which is watch something come out and him be like some terrible Bobby Kotick type person.
I really hope he isn't.
But that's like, what's his face? Borderlands guy.
Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, I was going to say Rusty Shackelford.
I mean, that seems more appropriate, but hey. Randy
Pitchford, until the weird, gross stuff came out, was a quirky, funny, eccentric character that I liked. Yeah. But gross stuff come out. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that.
No.
Because we did a whole episode on that.
We did. Go watch it. Listen to it.
Episode 34.
Yes, listen to it, because there's no video.
It was good fun.
It was fun. We need to do
It was so
another
much fun. Just literally
See,
I think that was the episode where we just laughed.
We did.
Literally the whole time.
But it's funny because, that was a fun and funny episode. And the ideal person to do that next would be Bobby Kotick, but I think I would be so full of anger.
I don't think we can do it for Bobby Kotick, because there's a big difference between him and Randy Pitchford. Randy Pitchford is a moron.
Yes, he is.
Whereas Bobby Kotick is probably a sociopath.
Yeah, he's like malicious and so. I don't think
Exactly. There's a big difference behind it.
Randy Pitchford is malicious, but in a different way. He got punched.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is malicious, but his antics alone are enough to fill a comedy sketch. Like, not enough. Like, Bobby Kotick's is not.
Right.
Because what am I going to do? Just talk about how annoying he is in Moneyball.
Oh my
Again.
goodness. Yes.
But
Anyway, we need to wrap this up.
Yes, I want to clarify my point.
Yes.
Never apologise to the prying mob, because they'll never be satisfied with the apology you give, ever. Because you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
It's true. I'm not going to disagree with you there. I mean, apologies have to be strategic.
Heartfelt.
I didn't know. I actually don't know that they need to be heartfelt.
It depends, really. If you're actually genuinely sorry about
if you're
what has
sorry,
happened,
then you do need to apologize.
like for an action that has happened, not for having an opinion.
No, that's what I was gonna say. If you're genuinely sorry, apologize every time, because that is
but
that's the real deal.
But this is my problem. This is sort of half the problem I have, and this is half the issue with technically being a free speech absolutist, is that your opinion is your opinion, and you shouldn't apologize for it. You know. Why is someone making you apologise for an opinion you have about something? Yes, the wording may not be how you envision it, but by doing so and saying, yeah, you have to apologise for what you said, is technically, going against the ideals of someone's free speech.
I mean, yes, but this is why I said it has to be strategic, because if you run a company and you're a terrible racist, guess what? You're allowed to be racist.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that racism is actually a crime, though.
Well, it depends. Because racism's not a crime in the U.S.
It kind of is here.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is here. But I'm thinking, like, in the U.S. side of things, I wish all racists would fall off the edge of the earth.
Yeah, they are disgusting, and I don't like them myself.
But they are allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah.
But if they want to continue business, then they need to.
But that's where social consequences come.
I just hate. You know what? I don't hate a lot of people. I hate racists.
So do I. That's the difference, is that they have social consequences for the actions that they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, social consequences, you can't be absolved of that. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm sure
that's fine.
I will face social
but that's
consequences
where I have an issue with some things that are done, especially when it comes to life, where some things should be social consequences, but they're not. They're actual, genuine crimes, such as Section 127 of the Communications Act 2003 in the UK, causing gross offence.
Right.
That's subjective.
Oh, it's definitely. Well, see, that's the thing. That's when we, like in the U.S. with the libel laws and stuff like that.
Yep.
Some laws are very subjective.
Yeah, but how can you create precedent on subjectivity?
Well, that's the thing. You have to create precedents.
Who dictates what's grossly offensive?
Well, for us, again, this would be Americans. For us, it would be the Supreme Court.
But that's the problem. A government should not be allowed to have that power.
I mean, then we're getting into politics.
To dictate what is grossly offensive.
But now we're getting into a whole
different we're not discussion. Going. I know, but that's the point I'm trying to say, because it obviously links to this story.
Yeah.
You know, something that may have caused gross offence would be.
Well, I think. Well, that's why
basically.
I think it has to be. I think it has to be a strategic thing, because if he didn't apologize, Unity may have seen, like, I don't know if it's a publicly traded company. I assume it is, but may have seen stocks fall. Yeah, I bet it is. They may have seen real world consequences if he didn't apologize. So on
Yeah.
one hand, yeah, he should stand up for what he believes, and he didn't say anything that. It just was
I don't.
clumsy. It was clumsy,
It
is what
it
he
was
said.
clumsy and a bit heavy-handed, let's
Yeah,
say, in that respect. But it wasn't offensive or
yeah.
anything to
Although,
as such.
when it comes to the American public, again, I can't speak for anyone else. The American public don't like cuss words because we're very puritanical culture. So
Hmm.
anytime someone says something with a cuss word in it,
Yeah.
America gets very like, whew, offended. And you have to apologize. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually.
Okay. Well, we had a couple more stories on here, but we're gonna have to not.
We're gonna
We're gonna
have
have
to
to
wrap
leave
it
them because
up.
we'll just quickly, briefly, very briefly, just say that Ubisoft were delaying games and cancelling games outright, such as the next Assassin's Creed game is being
Right.
pushed to spring 2023. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is due to come out in April 2023, and probably what was the biggest disappointment from the whole thing was that Ubisoft have cancelled Ghost Recon Frontline,
Oh, I'm
Splinter
so,
Cell VR, and two unannounced
oh,
games.
my poor little heart.
Sam Fisher just does not get a break.
He
Poor
really
guy.
doesn't. Oh my
No.
goodness. But
So yeah, that covered that one. That's our news for the week.
that is our news for the week. And we do apologize that we have to be running on. Although, to be fair, it's not bad. Well, that's right. We've been live for a while.
Hour
Haven't
and 20 we've been recording.
Yeah,
for.
okay.
So it
It
still
is a
fits in
shorter.
our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you should come by Twitch and see our pre-recording
And
discussion.
post show.
Yeah, our pre and post show, because we had some really good discussion points about storytelling.
We did.
In there, and I
That will
enjoyed
also
it.
be. Also, if you don't want to follow us on Twitch because you don't like Twitch as a platform, that is fine. That's your choice. Those will be uploaded to YouTube after the fact. So you can go and check the
Yeah.
pre and post show on YouTube because, funnily enough, as someone who has to run a business of this
Yes.
podcast,
Yes.
I am not monetizing this.
Yep.
We do not believe in
No,
paywalling some of
no.
our content. So,
No.
yes.
Nope.
Free for all.
Free for all for free. Haha.
Very good.
But I am going to wrap this up,
Yes.
although we will stick around for a little bit of a post show.
Yep.
But we do appreciate you joining us, as always. And I say it quite often, but you could spend your time with anyone. The fact that you choose to spend your time with us means the world to us.
Yes.
Please continue to do so, because we're lonely and we need friends. and,
Always.
But that reminds me, Pete, where can they find you out there in the interlands? Internet lands?
I was gonna say, do you want to let everyone know where you can find yourself first? Because I've got
Oh,
a few
you've
things
got-
I need to
yeah.
announce.
Yeah, unlike myself, which only has one tiny little location link, Pete's got quite a bit. No, if you want to find me, I'm out there in the Twitterverse mostly at KILEYTEHGREET.
Yes.
And come along and join the fun. Pete, where can they find you?
So you can usually find me on this podcast. You can find obviously if you found us, you know where to find us. But if you know, as such, you can also find me podcasting as well, talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and my issues of storytelling
Yes.
on the Never Watchers, which is on most good and bad platforms at the Never Watchers. But you can follow my personal Twitter where I tweet about video games and winding people up all the time because it's fun and sometimes being nice. At Pete Beckett 1, which is spelled BECKETT, and the number 1. But the reason why I asked you to go first is because I've been asked to pass a message along by Mr. Overlord Mike.
Ooh.
Rapid Reviews UK is currently on the lookout for new writers, so if you are interested in joining the incredible culture and the great team over at Rapid Reviews UK, if you are inexperienced, no experience is necessary to come and join the team, please shoot a DM over to Mike Rapid Reviews UK, or you can email us at podcast@rapidreviewsuk.com, and I will forward it across to Mike.
Yeah, I got a few messages in my inbox. So, when I posted that. So,
Excellent.
you will be
yeah,
forwarded on.
yes, we will forward any applications on
Yeah.
to Mike to have a look and discuss with you about that. So if you want free games to review, a few words required for them, come join us.
It is quite
Join
fun.
us.
Join us. It's a great group, and it's just fun, and you get free games. I mean, that's cool. That's like
Yeah,
the
all you
coolest
need to
part.
do is just write a few words down on a page. That's
Yeah,
it. Take a couple of screenshots and you're good.
I feel guilty because I have one I need to finish.
I'm still got to finish another one myself as well, so don't worry. Additionally, I wanted to shout out the Discord community again, because they're great.
Oh, yes.
More play sessions with both the public and the writers are due to come over the course of the next few weeks as well. So more Fall Guys, hopefully some more Halo if we can get involved in getting a few more people onto that too. Like, better yet, suggest some multiplayer games that we can play. No Brent, not Warframe.
We will, though.
I kid, of course.
We
will be jumping on Warframe at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But come and join us for some community sessions because we want to try and get some more community game sessions available for people out there.
Yeah.
And that's me.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to do it for us. So, thank you for joining us, and we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thus ends the podcast portion of this show.
Excellent. You actually did it naturally because I keep meaning to tell you. Can we please have at least a 2 to 3 second break in between the recording
How long
so
do I
that we don't
do it?
Yeah, I know, but last week was also quite difficult because there was a bit where someone was saying something and I had to cut it short.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, because it bled into then doing the post show.
Whoopsie.
So no, it's fine. I keep meaning to ask you about that.
Yes.
Brent beat me to it.
Haha. No, it is gonna happen. It's just getting everything coordinated, and I have to have room on my Xbox, my sex box.
Why did you go all suddenly posh British there? I need some space on my Xbox.
My Xbox. I was watching. What was I watching? I don't remember. I never got to talk about iZombie. Which is apparently a DC comic property. Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
And so I've now ordered the first comic so I can read it just to see.
Is it Vertigo?
It's Vertigo, yeah. And yeah, good guess. Very good.
My DC knowledge is clearly more impressive than my Marvel knowledge.
I don't normally like DC products, just as a general rule. It's just a different style of storytelling. It's just different. Not saying it's worse or better. It's just a different. I love Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, but that's because she's very character driven. DC stories aren't usually character driven.
Some of them are, not a lot of them. The Vertigo stuff is definitely more on the side of actual storytelling.
Oh yes, I would agree with that. So the first season, so there's 5 seasons. 5 seasons? Yeah, I think 5 seasons. The first season's very normal, typical, nothing. It's kind of cut and dry, very boring. And then the second season, it kind of got its footing, and blah blah blah. Then I think the 3rd season is when COVID happened.
Yeah.
No, I'm wrong. 3rd season was wrong. 3rd season is when Donald Trump was elected.
Oh.
Yeah. And
no more needs to be said.
They went off the rails, but in a good way. It popped freaking off. It became like a video game, a zombie video game. They just were like, you know what? We're no longer a detective story with the zombie detective. She's a medical examiner, but she acts as a detective.
Yeah.
They're like, nope, we're getting rid of all the rules. And then COVID happened during this other season. No, I'm still not there yet. I keep forgetting, sorry. I'm in the year before COVID happened, and this is what's weird. A pandemic breaks out.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy to me, is the way it follows, and then COVID happened afterwards. So it has gone from this very straightforward I mean, straightforward as a zombie detective can. But I mean, look at Dexter. Dexter's a serial killer
Oh yeah.
guy.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and this was out at the same time, so it's just like a very cut and dry detective story with a little bit of comedy here and there, and a little cutesy stuff. And she's cute as
Yeah.
heck. I'm not saying because she has bleached blonde hair and very pale skin, but
Yeah, I wonder why you like it then.
yeah, exactly. And she's very, very feisty. Yeah, can't imagine why. But
No, I'm not sure why. I just can't quite put my finger on it,
Yep. And but if you hang in there, like I was getting bored. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. If you hang in there, it just goes completely off the rails. It goes into just crazy, complete absurdism.
Sweet.
It's insane.
I do like that sometimes.
It's got a good villain in it too.
Okay.
They tried. See, here's another thing, Pete. So the main villain, he was rotten to the core on the first season. Like there was no redemption at all. And then they did this weird thing where they made him like nice and a love interest, and it was like, what are you doing? You've taken away the magic of the show. And then they gave
switch.
Yeah. Well, then
Of course it was.
because it was during that whole like villain, sympathetic villain or whatever, and they tried to make him like, oh, he was an abused kid and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then when they just went off the rails, they just gave him amnesia, and this is not a spoiler because it's a major plot point. It's not a spoiler. They give him amnesia, and he just becomes evil again. And it's like,
Oh.
thank goodness. Okay, so we've got our bad guy that is 100% bad.
Yeah, I know, but they've gone the worst angle that they
it
can
was.
with that, which is so stupid.
But I think they did it on purpose because the guy that writes it, get this, Pete, get this. This is the level of absurdity we are in now. So the guy that writes it is called Rob Thomas. He wrote like.
I thought you were going to say Rob Zombie there. For
No.
Thank God.
Oh, that's good. But Rob Thomas, and he's a well-known writer of like Warner Brothers type, DC type shows. But as most people know, the lead singer of Matchbox 20 is also called Rob Thomas. Matchbox 20 was one of my favorite bands when I was a kid. And Pete, I kid you not. On one episode, they were like, they had an in-show commercial, and they're like, Rob Thomas wrote this commercial, and it was great. I was like, haha, self-referential, that's so funny. The literal...
I was like, no.
What?
No, they actually got the band to do
The literal next episode, Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 shows up and sings the song.
That's kind of hilarious, actually.
I won't say what happens to him, but I'll just tell you,
don't.
It is a level of absurdism that is hilarious. I literally laughed out loud, and I was like, I think I love this show because it just went bluey.
I do quite like it when a show just goes completely batshit insane.
Yeah, it was like we no longer are adhering to any rules, and there are plot holes, and there are things that don't make sense, but they know it, so they're just like, okay.
Oh, that's potential.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of comments come in since. Brent has put, my spaghetti turned out okay. Oh yeah, because it's like lunchtime there now. So yeah, good stuff. Tried a new sauce. Flavour is good, but a little thin for me. What sauce?
Yeah, I want to know. Not that we have the same brands, but I'm still curious.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Oh gosh.
Anyway, he says, why haven't I heard about these games nights until now? They have been in the Discord.
Yeah.
They have been there, but I guess
we probably haven't been
away for a little bit.
Yeah, we might need to advertise them a little bit better. But yeah, come join us.
If you look at the public general channel, they're usually posted in there, so we can get fans and writers alike together.
Because Nana joins us sometimes.
Yes. Need to talk to you about that after the show as well.
Okay.
Because we might be able to get a few more people for some private games of Fall Guys.
Ah, okay.
So we'll talk about that. But anyway,
yeah,
so keep an eye on the public general channel if we decide to do game sessions. I mean, it's kind of on Fall Guys at the moment because I think we're all a bit obsessed with the game. It's just gone free to play.
Yeah, I was going to say free to play, and there's quite the grinding to be done.
Yes,
My
and
favorite.
the fact, I mean, it's on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC,
Yeah.
So But yeah, there have been sessions on Halo before. We've done it with Mike and Alicia and Chloe and Rob, I think. So
Yep.
we've done some Destiny 2 sessions with me, you, and Kieran. We also, I think we did one with Rob as well.
We did.
Did some
We
Back
did.
for Blood. Yeah, Brent, you joined the Back for Blood one with us like a while back. So
Yeah.
we're sort of bringing them back now that
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
we're bringing them back.
I have more
So
energy now, so I'm gonna like be able to play more on stuff.
Yeah, so that's the hope anyway.
Imagine
So yeah, keep
going
an eye
back
on.
to the gym gave me more energy.
Oh, funny that. Thought it was supposed to drain you of your energy.
Oh no.
Anyway, so yeah, keep an eye on Public General. So he said I don't check Public as often, so
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
All right.
He also put that I just started watching Taskmaster Series 10, which is the first COVID season. So, yeah, you are correct. I played Halo and Back for Blood with some RR folks in the fall. Yeah, that was when the closed beta for Back for Blood was out.
I don't remember. It's so long ago in my head.
Oh, I know. We did the impressions for it.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Yes,
oh
because
yeah.
you and Kieran had to edit my entire section down.
Only for time, not for ability.
Yeah. I know. I just like to keep bringing that up because clearly my ability was too much.
Oh my gosh, your ability was fine. It got the job done. No,
I meant it was too much in terms of actually talking about how bloody matchmaking and
it was
play works.
Actually, it was so well written. It could have been a review on its own.
Yeah, because it's an online focused game.
Yeah, and it was really well done, and it was so difficult to have to choose which to keep and which not.
Oh, I know. It's always difficult with that sort of thing.
Yeah, because it was high quality. It wasn't like, oh, Pete's terrible and he just threw some crap on the page. No.
Well, I kind of did.
No, you didn't. You always say that, and I never believe you. Pete doesn't do pre-writing, which is weird to me. It's really weird.
No, because I'm basically planning it all in my head.
Yeah, I do that too, but I still have to
already
pre-write.
So the way that I found that works for me is usually like I'll just get started and I flow. That's it, and then I just go back.
You're like a rapper.
Pretty much, yeah. I approach my reviews like a songwriter does. It just flows onto the page.
Oh my gosh, Brent's now said what's pre-writing.
What's pre-writing?
I'm sure you're saying that to wind me up.
Now, yeah, I'm not even going into this.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up because I have to go.
Yeah,
not that I want to. I love doing this. I never want people to think that I'm leaving because I have to wrap this up. I'm so tired of it. No.
Yeah. Also, Brent answered the question of Trader Joe's chunk of tomato and free pepper.
I'm so hungry. I can't eat. Well, okay. First of all, I can't eat pasta anyway, like because the whole celiac thing. But second of all, I can't eat gluten-free pasta anymore.
No.
Because I'm on keto paleo. But luckily, they make these noodles. I forgot what they're made out of, but it's some plant in China, I think. And they really are just like ramen noodles. Like they are curly like it and the same texture and stuff. So I just make that.
Yeah, here we go. He put, my mum is amazed when I write. Just sit down at the lake. A few minutes later, it's done. I did the same when actually. I remember I told you about this. You were absolutely astonished by this when I said. I know you're
about to say it. Yeah.
I was on my way back on a train.
Yep.
Playing Super Mario Bros. 35 when it came out. Within 30 minutes, I'd written a full review on it.
I don't get it.
On a train journey home, and I literally was just sat there like writing it out. And Rachel was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Writing a review." And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'll leave you to it then." And 15 minutes later, I was like, "Yeah, it's done."
Nope. Me, who's had 4 years of writing education.
Also, might be the reason why you're a published author, not just a.
I mean, there is that. Yeah, because there's a lot more. You have to pre-write if you're going to do a novel. You have to.
Of course, yeah. It would be different if I decide, because this is something that most people don't know about me as such in terms of my writing side of things, and I need to talk to you about this briefly, very quickly after.
Okay, because I have to go, Pete.
I know. I like writing scripts.
Yes.
I love film and I
Mhm.
love TV shows, so I have done script writing for
Yeah.
various ideas I've had over the past, and most of them don't work out too well. But yes, that is absolutely one thing you have to do in terms of that is you have to have your narrative all the way, like
Yep.
your whole through line. So
Yep.
you have to pre-write.
You have to.
Just reviews, it just comes naturally to me because I've been doing it for a lot longer than I've ever been published.
Yeah. Okay. I have to go. But Brent does say also one of my reviews was published. Was that yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we remember that one.
That was really cool. That's really
The day I got my first review ever published in a magazine, I was absolutely ecstatic.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. I have all my writings, clipped and saved.
I mean, yeah, I've got digital versions.
Yeah, like I have scanned them in and stuff like that. But there is no, it's such a great feeling. The only thing is, there is one, okay, I gotta say this. Now I have to go. I'm gonna be so late.
Yeah, no worries.
I saw on Twitter, someone was like, oh, it's Sean Maher, or how do you say his last name? It's probably Matter, but it's Maher. But maybe. It's Irish, so.
Maher.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Stephanie Meyer, who wrote
Okay.
Twilight.
Oh, right. Okay. But he had asked, what's your favorite piece of writing you've ever done? And then, post here the link or blah, blah, blah. And I'll bookmark it and go read it and stuff like that. My problem is, though, my personal greatest piece of writing, and I'm like all over the place. I've got 2 novels, I've got a cookbook, I've written countless journalistic articles, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Humble brag. No, my greatest personally written piece is actually in my colleges, universities, what is it called? When they put a bunch of things together? I forget what it's called.
I can't remember.
You put a bunch
I know what you mean.
Anthology?
Yeah.
Yeah, in one of their anthologies. And it was a short story I did. But the problem is, in order to find that anthology, I have to pay like $50.
Yeah.
Because it's not online.
Whereas I can go and pull the first 2 poems I ever wrote that got published because they were printed in books.
Well, see, mine was printed in a book, but my book's not online.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Mine wasn't either, but we obviously ordered them, so I still got copies of them.
Yeah. I'm going to have to break down and actually order that anthology at some point, because it is like a really good short story. It's a Twilight Zone.
I'd be interested in reading it, actually.
Yeah, because we had to perform our stories, obviously, because that's just what we were.
Sure.
So when I read it to the room, the whole entire room got goosebumps when I hit the end.
Good stuff.
And I did the same smile. I was like, ha ha ha, I tricked you all. So it is a twisted ending. But anyway.
But I didn't expect anything less from you, to be honest.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
Yep. Twisted fire starter. I have to go. Brent says the best writing is probably a scientific research paper. Ooh. What subject? But I have to go.
Yeah, we'll get back to that next time.
Yeah. Yep, save that thought, Brent.
Yeah, save that for next Sunday.
Because we'll do a pre-show. Pre-writing, as it were, but for a show. Anyway.
I pre-write the show. It's called putting the agenda together.
That's true. You do. That is actually, you're 100% correct. You're not wrong. All right, we got to go. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're watching us on a VOD, I hope you enjoy it. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.